out the struggle, boys. Fight for the Liberty Tree. It's a tall old tree and a strong old tree. And we are the sons, yes, we are the sons of liberty. Stand for the rights of man, boys. Stand against all tyranny. Hang the lance of freedom, boys. High on the Liberty Tree. It's a tall old tree and a strong old tree. And we are the sons, yes, we are the sons of liberty. It will grow as we grow, boys. It will be as strong as we. We must cling to our faith, boys. Faith in the Liberty Tree. It's a tall old tree and a strong old tree. And we are the sons, yes, we are the sons of liberty.
Join Mark and Don for Weapons Wednesday, where you'll learn how to use everything from your bare hands to your average AR-15.
The 12-gauge autoloader,
Sure.
the 45 long slide
Yep.
with laser sighting,
You betcha.
the Uzi 9mm
Yes, sir.
phased plasma rifle in a 40-watt range.
What are you, crazy?
Wrong.
Okay. They'll talk about that too. So whatever question you have about whatever weapon you have, call Mark and Don on Weapons Wednesday. And remember, your mind is your first best weapon.
We all need to prepare ourselves. You might have the food, water, gold, and silver, but ask yourself, are you truly prepared? That's why you need to visit MaineMilitary.com. MaineMilitary.com carries everything you need. Gas masks, fire starter kits, high-capacity magazines, chemical suits, military surplus items, and much more. Do you own a firearm? MaineMilitary.com has a large selection of pistols and rifles suited for your needs. Are your local stores sold out of ammunition? Call or visit them today for prices on hard-to-find ammo and bulk ammo orders. You don't need to worry about having a military surplus store in your area because MaineMilitary.com is the only store you'll ever need, all from the comfort of your computer. Visit them online today at MaineMilitary.com. That's Maine, like the state, military.com.
Liberty's Guardian, Guns and Ammunition, a family-owned business located in the heart of Ohio's hunting country. Let us help you find the right shotgun or rifle for you. Or if you're looking for a pistol or concealed carry, we have a nice selection of compact and subcompact pistols for that too. Check out our website at www.libertiesguardian.com. That website again is www.libertiesguardian.com. Go to the website and check out our selection today.
I had understand. A figure walked in through the mist with a flintlock in his hand. His clothes were torn and dirty as he stood there by my bed. He took off his three-cornered hat, and speaking low to me, he said, "We fought a revolution to secure our liberty. We wrote the Constitution as a shield from tyranny. For future generations, this legacy we gave. In this, the land of the free and home of the brave. The freedoms we secured for you, we'd hoped you'd always keep. But tyrants labored endlessly while your parents were asleep. Your freedom's gone, your courage lost. You're no more than a slave. In this, the land of the free and home of the brave. You buy permits to travel and permits to own a gun. Permits to start a business or to build a place for one. On land that you believe you own, you pay a yearly rent, although you have no voice in saying how the money's spent. Your children must attend a school that doesn't educate, and your Christian values can't be taught according to the state. You read about the current news in a regulated press, and you pay a tax you do not owe to please the IRS. Your money is no longer made of silver nor of gold. You trade your wealth for paper, so your life can be controlled. You pay for crimes that make our nation turn from God and shame. You've taken Satan's number. You've traded in your name. You've given government control to those who do you harm, so they could burn down churches and seize the family farm, and keep our country deep in debt, put men of God in jail, harass your fellow countrymen while corrupted courts prevail. Your public servants don't uphold the solemn oaths they've sworn. And your daughters visit doctors so their children won't be born. Your leaders send artillery and guns to foreign shores and send your sons to slaughter fighting other people's wars. Can you regain the freedoms for which we fought and died? Or don't you have the courage or the faith to stand with pride? And are there no more values for which you'll fight to save? Or do you wish your children to live in fear and be a slave? O sons of the Republic, arise, take a stand, defend the Constitution, the supreme law of the land. Preserve our great republic and each God-given right. And pray to God to keep the torch of freedom burning bright. As I awoke, he'd vanished in the mist from whence he came. His words were true. We are not free, but we have ourselves to blame. For even now as tyrants trample each God-given right, we only watch and tremble, too afraid to stand and fight. If he stood by your bedside in a dream while you were asleep and wondered what remains of the freedoms he'd fought to keep, what would be your answer if he called out from the grave? Is this still the land of the free and home of the brave? God bless you, and God bless this republic.
And good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Evening Intelligence Report. I'm Mark Kornke. One day closer to victory for all of our brothers and sisters, both on and behind the lines in occupied territories, west, southwest, east, and north. Ladies and gentlemen, you are listening to us on Libertytreeradio.4mg.com, Liberty Tree Radio on YouTube live stream, and we are on AM and FM micro stations, CB base stations, and Ultranet Hallmark and Golden Spike Technologies east and west of the Mississippi, along with Alaska. Good afternoon and evening to all of our friends out there in lower 49, including the great state of Jefferson, 3 hours behind us, so it's still afternoon way out there, along with the rest of the left coast. Yeah, along with CONUS, the outlying two states, the territories, and the clock, 8:09 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and it is Monday. It's the 21st of September. It's the 12th year of Open Sabian Socialist and Soviet Socialist Occupation of America with a K, 2020, Old Earth Calendar, 2020, Year of Conflict, Year of the Dance of Swords, and Battle for the Republic. Congratulations, you're living the experience and you're in the competition. Now, it's Monday. It's been a very busy weekend. We had a lot of friends up and about the state, I understand, and also a couple of cooperative FTXs in-state with different militia units that were from different organizations. That's cool. That's how it should be. Everybody's doing their own thing. A reminder that if you really want to support the militia, do something to help support the deep logistics, tactical level train that we are developing. And that is probably the single most important thing that needs to be done right now. We're going to touch on a couple of subjects here during this hour, the last hour of the day. But in the meantime, I want to remind you, go check aimsurplus.com. I'm going to harp on that. And again, because now is when they start posting whatever they have, if anything came in today by UPS or FedEx or whatever they have delivered. I understand everybody's steering clear of FedEx because they've got delivery problems, theft going on. We'll find out more about that progressively, but as it is, AIM Surplus, and not just want to touch on the ammunition tonight with them, but something else that came up yesterday. First of all, AIM surplus, ammunition. Now, they may or may not have anything any different because I don't know what they got coming in. I don't know what their schedule is, but looks like we got, well, same thing that was sitting there in the 2-hour block, so I'm not going to go any farther with that, except to say if you have a 32 automatic Colt pistol, they've got Norma 32 ACP. That's some of the best ammunition on the planet, actually. $15.95 a box, and they do have 30 carbine. They've also got some 7.62x54R in PPU, Preview Partisan, and 30-06 in PPU also. Excellent ammunition, excellent choice, and there's some Wolf and a few other things sitting there, so you take a look at that. But I want to bring up something else. I know that certain people, and some of you are listening right now, have built certain firearms you just love. It is the weapon you believe is the cat's meow. It is where you want to be, and it's what you would prefer to build another of. But it can't be done necessarily. This is not 1 year ago or 2 years ago. Hell, it's not even 6 months ago. A lot of inventory was sitting there. However, AIM surplus is famous for a couple of things. Ammunition I've been harping on, but that's not really what they're the go-to guys for bolt carriers in good quantity, always. They always seem to have had a good connect. They make their own. They have their own line of AIM bolt carriers, and they've got a wide spectrum of them to choose from. So for you guys that are building guns right now, it's not a matter of I want a Schmidlap 402 because it's the best thing next to sliced white bread. Well, guess what? The Schmidlap 402 is not available. You better find something else, and here's how you should look at it. Get an intermediate or just a bottom-end version of whatever else might be out there. And when you can get that Schmidlap model, yeah, go ahead and buy one. Guess what? Now you have a spare bolt carrier. Take the other one out that you told me wasn't as good, although it seems to work fine in your rifle, and start building another gun. Or, better still, here's a part solution. Get yourself a sleeve. Make sure you grease everything up. Take that whole bolt carrier and put it in a sleeve in a pouch on your combat gear. Why? Well, that's a complete bolt carrier. Something happens during a field situation. You pull out the other one. You don't try to fight it and figure out what's going on. You pull it. You make sure you clear the chamber. Everything's clear with the gun. Reintroduce the other bolt carrier group, and you're back to fighting. You'll figure out what's wrong with the one you took out later. But again, if all of a sudden there's still another problem with the other bolt carrier, well, then you got something that's a major issue. Junker, slug or something is stuck somewhere. If it's not functioning after that, of course, it could be something weird with the gas tube, but not likely. So just a little heads up. AIM surplus. They've got the AIM AR M16 223556 nitride. $99.95. They used to be a $70 bolt carrier, I'll tell you that, but nobody's at those prices for the time being and have been for quite some time. They also have a nitride NIB carrier in the satin for $109.95, and they've got it for $119. All parts, everything with the same, KI finish, and again, all of them are in stock. So if I was looking and people have been saying, I can't get a bolt carrier, yeah, you can. I can just found 3 right there, and they're all in stock, and they're all available. They show them that I can tag them, bag them, and have them shipped. So don't tell me they're not available. Now, is it the most sophisticated, greatest next thing to sliced white pumpernickel? Wait a minute, there is no such thing as white pumpernickel. Well, yeah, there is. It's decaffeinated. There you go. You thought it. No. Anyway, as it is, the bolt carriers that are out there, these are serviceable enough. They will get the job done, and there are charging handles also at the same source. And those are the two things that seem to be the odd man out. As far as barrels go, there are a wide range of uppers, just not necessarily in the first choice that you may have had based on the technology you're presently wanting to use, okay? You wanted to mimic what you already built. Well, you can get close, but the word mimic is very appropriate because that's probably closer to where you will be in order for you to complete the task, okay? You can live with that. Guys, we're too close to kickoff to worry about the finesse of a certain brand if we have something that is serviceable. And by the way, with charging handles, yeah, Mark, Mark goes, well, you can go over here to AIM. Mark, there's a $90. Yeah, I know. I saw that. Somebody popped that up right away with a, hey, did you see how much you want for the charging handle? Well, it's not the only charging handle they have. And by the way, yes, you can spend any amount of money you want on any AR-15 part. We've already talked about this for years. Whatever you want to spend, somebody will charge you. How do you like that one? So anyway, the basic $16, $15 charging handle, I think, is what now, around $19 or so, but they are there. Yes, there are 308 762x51 NATO bolt carrier groups. They carry them also, including the full nitride finish. So if that's what you're interested in, and they have them in stock, that is an option. Also, again, if you cherry pick from many different locations, you can pretty well find what you need in the way of comparable components. I'm going to tell you right now, I prefer a 20-inch barrel AR-15. But right now, as I've said, 16s were cheaper, and so if I was cranking out a Praetorian rifle, if I'm going to hand something out to someone, for the handout rifles, 16-incher, if it's going to be a lot cheaper, is where you go. Just that simple. And again, it's to get more weapons out and into the troops' hands when the time comes, okay? Now, another thing, ammunition, and again, as soon as we start talking AR-15s, ammunition, I'm looking for 5.56. You almost have to be a shark perusing the internet in order to find what you want in 223 right now. There is some green tip over at unammo.com, but you are going to pay the present, oh my God, prices for that, okay? There is some Steel Wolf. There is some Tula brand that's popped up here and there, but it's random, and you have to follow the prey through the water. Now, I will say this, don't wait too long. Do a quick search. In fact, I wouldn't even take, if you've got multiple options if you're on a desk unit or on a laptop. It's harder to play with a phone, but you can do it. Keeping something open bogs down your system. It does anything, but it's really a problem with the phones. So you want to go over, sit down on the computer, and keep the page open where you found the ammo, and then go do the rest of your searches. However, if it's very obvious that you're not finding anything in that caliber, and they have that reasonably priced, 5.56 sitting there, you better grab it while it's there. I will just tell you that, because within the next couple hours to 10 hours, somebody's going to find it, and when everybody finds it, it just gets garbulated. It's just gone. It just gets consumed, okay? Don't panic over that. It's just plan. Don't panic. Plan. Now, set a dollar value on what you want to spend, either in amount or price per unit. And if you look around, the steel case is still relatively cheap by comparison. And there is even some PPU brass that's come through, brass ammo, but it's catch as catch can. So grab what you can while you can and keep running with the puppy until we run out. And then it's going to be stripping the enemy dead after that, once we get going. Otherwise, somebody's asked me several times about what's my favorite folding stock. Anyone that's cheapest and not breakable. In other words, one of the things I wouldn't do, a collapsible stock, it's not so much a break, like a side break. I've noticed they've got several of these, and there's no real need for that. But if you really have your heart set on it, who am I to argue? Let's figure out how well it works, because you'll be the research and development teams, okay? But the standard AR, if you want to go down to pistol length or a pistol tube on top of a regular AR, think about this. When we go to war, nobody's going to be worrying about that. Right now, the cops and all the rest will betray you. And obviously the bat faggots and everybody else is going to screw with you. But once we get into a conflict, guys, if you want to make a smaller package weapon, just get the parts together now, put them off to the side, and don't worry about appeasing anybody. Because if you're shooting the people that are probably going to be, coming for the guns, and or siding with Antifa, coming for the guns, you're not going to really care about any rules anymore, are you? But right now, you got to watch it, because, again, remember, the skanks in the Fed, the skanks in all these cop shops are trying to suck up to the system, make brownie points, and you will be sacrificed. So do not trust any of the cop shops over any cop shop members over that either. Oh, look at the cool stuff I got. Don't you dare do that. I want to show you. I got this secret stuff here, and right, there you go. You know what's going to happen then? You're going to have a visit, because they're going to make brownie points. So don't do that. I think I heard a voice. Do we have a caller?
Hey, yeah, this is Carl in Virginia. Very good points. You mentioned the charging handle. Having a spare one of those, that's a big deal, like much bigger deal than most people think. I've seen those things fracture. I've seen one rip right off inside the rifle. Be very careful. Make sure that you are not putting upward tension on it when you pull the charging handle to the rear. Make sure that when you pull it to the rear and lock the bolt to the rear that you push it back forward until it goes click. Don't let it just dangle there. It's another mistake a lot of people who are new to the AR make. But definitely have one or two spares for your rifles. That will break down on you faster than the firing pin and probably faster than the gas rings on the bolt.
Well, as a matter of fact, I was looking to see what they did have, just charging handles. Well, they do have in stock a $14.95 model now. AIM surplus. Now, is that going to be really super sophisticated? No, it's just a mimic of the standard U.S. military model. It's been around forever. And again, one of the reasons you want to make sure it's secure and you don't have it just hanging there when you drop the bolt is it will force, it will strike the front claw, and if it doesn't break, it may fracture. And you may not realize right away until you try to recharge that system when it disconnects and breaks the rest of the way internally. And there's two problems with that. Number one, needless to say, your bolt's not going anywhere. Number two, that part that you just broke off is inconveniently in a place where it will cause nothing but heartburn. It is going to create a malfunction because it is a small piece of metal and it's going to be inside a closed system if you were to pull the trigger. So just a heads up, you're just waiting to create a disaster there.
Yeah, Mark, I've seen two issues with the charging handles. First off is toward the end or the front end of it, right before it gets to that little L, that 90-degree curve, there'll be fractures there. You'll see just little tiny fractures, and it'll go kind of almost at an angle toward the 90-degree bend. And then the other issue is, and now remember, the shaft of that charging handle is aluminum. All right, and the main body of, I should say, is aluminum.
Yeah,
the little latch is usually steel, and the roll pin in there that holds it in place is steel. All right, aluminum versus steel, who wins? And I've had that latch rip right off in my hand. Yep.
Well, the basic ones are infusion cast. They are stable enough because it's something they've done forever. But basic infusion cast, and as a point, you can pay right here at AIM Surplus $14.95 for a baseline model, which is fine. It works. However, you can spend up to, hold on here, $151.20 for a Knight's Armament 556 ambidextrous charging handle. Probably made from billet, I would think. I don't know. In fact, I'm just looking at the price just to give you an idea of spectrum. And there's everything in between, $109, $66, $80, $62, $49, $89, $49. So you see, you can spend, as I said many times, as much as you want or as little, and you get a basic model which is serviceable enough. Just remember all the issues with the AR-15. That's all you have to do. And but you can buy nicer. I mean, you can buy up if you want to start putting racing foils on your car. I'm sorry, it's the same thing. You're dressing up your rifle, and you're making some parts cooler than others. And I don't have a problem with that. I think, guess what? This is America. You can do that.
Yes. Personally, I like the BCM. It's the Bravo company brand charging handle, and it'll have an extended latch on it. So if you have an optic, it's a really good one. It's tough. Yep. It'll last forever. But if you're the armorer for your unit, do your unit a favor and get yourself a batch of those of just standard charging handles, nothing special about them. Maybe like 10 or 20 of them, and have in your kit, because you will go through those.
Make a deal. Actually, remember, you start buying quantity, always call and make a deal, because usually they will. Okay, I need a bunch of them. What kind of a deal can I make? And the other thing about this is the ambidextrous are nice, but they're not essential. But it's one of those things. It's a personal preference thing. A lot of people are throwing a lot of night vision and optics on board. Remember that optical cup is coming back. Everything's coming back farther. and it's typically going to be on a flat top nowadays. Not always. I've got a lot of carry handle ARs, and I'm not going to change them. And in fact, if I were to all of a sudden take that AR-15 upper off, it was a carry handle model, it's going to go on another lower receiver real quick. I wouldn't leave it just laying around. Why not? Put another gun together. So all the carry handle rifles just have to compensate accordingly and understand when you have a flat top, remember you're compressing everything. So everything's going to be tighter and closer. That's one of the biggest problems people tend to forget. And then all those convenient light small parts become inconvenient light small parts, which is another problem. Another thing real quick before I forget here with AIM is, yes, they do have gun parts and they do have SKS parts. So I just want to touch on that real quick, remind you, not many. They used to be a gopher for, a go-to for SKS parts, but they've pretty well run the gamut on those, but they do have some things left. So you need to go take a look at that. And then they do pile up Glock parts. That's another thing they're really famous for. So, again, aimsurplus.com, aimsurplus.com. And I wanted to make sure we got that in tonight because the ammo is there, but nothing new yet so far. So it'll probably be after we do the program, and I won't be able to talk about it. Tell you what, Carl, before we go any farther here, I want to do this again. Edward, if you could. Got a couple of music pieces, but there's a shorter version, Keep Your Rifle by Your Side. And I figured we'd play another version and have it in the mix here. So, Edward, if you could, Keep Your Rifle by Your Side. And this one is at Michael Mouse, M-A-U-S, Michael Mouse. Michael Mouse, M-A-U-S, that's the channel. We'll be right back. All right, and we are back. That's one now, since I've got Edward right there, up in Kenosha. It's not Weapons Wednesday, And initially, you will think, if you hear the leader, you'll recognize the leader, the beginning, and then realize, hey, this is a really cool song, but it's a different song. So Up in Kenosha, and this is a Up in Kenosha repost because they were thinking that the song may be pulled. This is Hans. There we go. We'll be back.
And it's up in Kenosha, that's where I long to be. Protecting gas stations with commandos next to me. A comrade on me left, another one on me right. And a couple mags of ammo for me little Armalite. Well, this brave BLM man came marching up our street. 600 and our kiddies he had lined up at his feet. Come out, you cowardly Nazis, come on out and fight. He cried, I'm only joking, when he heard the Armalite. And it's up in Kenosha, that's where I long to be. Protecting gas stations with commandos next to me. A comrade on me left, another one on me right. And a couple mags of ammo for me little Armalite. Well, the commies came to visit me, 'twas in the late hours, with communists and anarchists attacking parked cars. They thought they had me cornered, but I gave them all a fright, with the arm-piercing bullets from me little Armalite. And it's up in Kenosha, that's where I long to be, protecting gas stations with commandos next to me. A comrade on me left, another one on me right, and a couple mags of ammo for me little Armalite. To my city there came joggers, they shouted I can't breathe. They burned down all the buildings and they all refused to leave. They rioted and looted, they went strong for 80 nights, until I started aiming with me little Armalite. And it's up in Kenosha, that's where I long to be, protecting gas stations with commandos next to me. A comrade on me left, another one on me right, and a couple mags of ammo for me little Armalite. The Reds came to Kenosha to riot just for fun. The DNC had told them that the cops were on the run, but communists and primates, while on a jog at night, say remember Kyle Slaughter and the bloody Armalite. And it's up in Kenosha, that's where I long to be, protecting gas stations with commandos next to me. A comrade on me left, another one on me right, and a couple mags of ammo for me little Armalite.
Hoorah! And we are back, and Up in Kenosha. If you recognize that, oh, that's my little Armalite. Yeah, with a little reword there. Up in Kenosha.
That was funny.
Well done, though, wasn't it? Really well done. So for everybody out there. So hopefully everybody, again, Up in Kenosha, repost. If you're on any social media, drag this over. It's over at Hans, the MG42 Gunner channel. Hans, the MG42 Gunner. That's Hans, H-A-N-S, space, the, space, MG42, space, Gunner channel over on YouTube. And it's Up in Kenosha, repost, because they thought, well, the first one might be taken down. It might even been taken down, but this one's up. So we played it, and it's now in our archive here. And you guys are all listening. Anybody who's recording, you have it too. So go get it and share it all over Facebook and anywhere else you can. Whatever you can. Right now, while I'm speaking, if you can share and listen in, fine. But if not, wait till the end of the program. Go ahead and take care of it that way. But help us out. Same with the first piece. Again, one of the neat things about this is there's a bunch of music out there, guys, and I think it's really, this is what I was hoping for, is all the creative juices are flowing, everybody's in motion. Keep Your Rifle by Your Side is actually supposed to be, was a derogatory piece for some scum Far Cry, okay, where the evil white people, evil, it's, of course, that's part of the theme, and how did you get all these Antifa punks? Video games, propaganda with a public fool system, which, by the way, this fall is going to be just puking on the kids. It's why they don't want, the teachers don't want, the teachers absolutely don't want the parents listening in if they're going to be in a computer class. Why? Because then you'd hear how they spit on you and spit on the kids and spit on your country. That's why the teachers don't want it. Why would they not want you to hear what they're doing? Because they're trying to make your children and you enemies. That's why. And, of course, the stranger, that quadriplegic, homosexual, Eskimo, pink-haired, bug-eyed guppy, that's the teacher, well, they can't have you hearing what they're propagandizing your children with, even though the pieces of trash typically don't have any of their own, or if they do, they don't go to the public school systems. It's like here in Dexter, all the teachers send their kids to private schools, but all the pizzazz get the public school system conditioning. Yeah, see how that works. So anyway, just a little heads up. Also, again, one of the other things real quick, we're just past the bottom of the hour. Music is one thing. Pile up as much as you can. Pro-Patriot, pro-firearm. Share it wherever you can. Make sure everybody, hears about it, sees it, knows what's going on. And when you do, guys, remember, you're going to need to keep people entertained. So here's another thing that you can do with those 5-gallon pails or with a foot locker. Ideally, you want something where you can keep everything watertight, airtight. So if you have a foot locker, make sure you put everything in big Ziploc bags, okay? Is game boxes. Now, every time I see the old car games, anything that was like Stratego that was done for car use, little, magnetic chessboards, little ones, they're perfect. All those that you can pile up and put into a bag, make sure, put them in a bag because the little tiny parts won't get lost. Put them in a Ziploc bag. And card games, decks of cards, notepads, pencils, pens, paper clips, everything you can think of. More chess games, little kiddie toys, children's toys, the stupid little McDonald toys. For a retreat, or for if you're especially going to have refugees / additional personnel, or you have a medical unit and you have a recovery area, you're going to need technology and, in other words, stuff to keep people busy and to consume time. Well, guess what? This is military used to do stuff like this. They don't have anything anymore, I think, that's in the official system. But they actually used to make little packages, prepackaged kits like this. Now, they also had others that had tobacco, liquor, the whole 9 yards. Alcohol was normal in the military, normal in the military for issue in the field. Most people don't realize that. The Navy, for instance, was supposed to provide beer or hard spirits to the crew, depending upon what was available. I'm not talking way back. I'm talking World War II. Okay, just a little heads up on that one. Nobody talks much about that. My dad used to, because he didn't drink, so it was like when they gave him a 6-pack of old-style, like 16-ounce canned beers, that was trading material. So when they went to shore leave, it's like, wow, they gave you a 6-pack and said, jump on this, get off the ship and go to the island. Well, the island, might have nothing. On the other hand, never know what you could buy. Never what somebody had carried off the battlefield or somebody had, hanging around. Those 6 cans of American beer were like money. See how that works? So again, basically toy boxes, but also like, everything from small toy stuffed animals and, and dolls, little ones, tiny ones, to game components, dice, dominoes, checkers, all of that. You need to make up boxes and fill them solid with stuff. I mean top to bottom solid. It's the job of the Hearts and Minds coordinator, whoever it is going to be dealing with personnel, to sort everything out. But what we need are these little containers ready to use. They can go into undergrounds, like underground sites where we have people or families that have to be moved or travel. We're moving somebody that's wanted by the police state. You've got to try and keep them busy. You want to give them things to do. Notepads, envelopes, paper clips, staples, staple guns, all the little trinket stuff. Think all the little stuff you run into that we used to have all laying all over the place. It's harder to find now, but if you see it at a yard sale, you scarf it up, especially in the freebie box. Here's another thing. Walkman, cassette Walkman or CD Walkman, doesn't make any difference. Grab all those you can. Their freebies are cheap right now, $1 a piece. Grab them, grab extra earbuds, anything that's there that goes with them, power supplies, whatever you see, grab it, bag them up, clean them up, make sure they're dusted off, clean everything, put in a Ziploc bag, each item, put them all together, put them in that bucket. And put some discs, put some tapes, put some whatever in there. It doesn't mean you're going to say if it's free, especially, who cares? If you get it free, I've got thousands of cassettes. Literally, I'm not exaggerating, thousands. You know what? The idea behind it, I've got a music mix of 20, 30, 40, 50 cassettes. I've got 4, 5, or 6 Walkmen. I've got 20, 30, 40 earbuds. I've got power supplies. Throw a pile of batteries in there with them. I don't put the batteries in now because there's no sense. But you provide power, and for the person who's convalescing and laying down there in the bed and is, I'm not able to get up or go anywhere, you've got reading material, you've got music to listen to, you've got something to keep them, eat up their time because they're going to get stuck, sitting there, laying there in the bed. They can't move, they have to convalesce, and the longer they lay down and stay calm, the sooner they'll get up healed. Prior proper planning prevents piss poor performance. Think ahead. Now, go ahead, jump in there.
A couple things you might want to double think on is jacks, because if you have your patients walking around with their bare feet, the kids leave the jacks on the floor. You have screaming people from that. Yeah, and then drum sets or music flutes, that stuff can get on the mind. These kids trying to harsh out some of that stuff. So, little squeeze boxes and things, harmonicas. And if you need noise discipline, you want to maybe not let that happen. So, there's some things you got to look at. I was looking at some of these small little electronic kits that teach them basic, they're like a little pegboard piece, teach them how to hook a battery up to a little LED and different things like that, little kits like that I've seen really cheap. I'm going to slightly change the subject a little bit to you. You know how the coronavirus here is, everybody's got the face mask on it. I'm surprised they haven't come out with butt plug mufflers, because the coronavirus coming out the other end, since they're talking out their two sides of their mouths, how come they don't come up with that? And then all the bathrooms, people are still sitting on them. The coronavirus is coming out the other end worse than,
It could be jumping up out of the toilet and grabbing them into the water, pulling them down in the water, found drowned and partially stuffed in the pipes. So I know. I was thinking
what Darzak said. I said, well, hey, farts cause more coronavirus than anything else.
Right. And again, are you using those toilet seat covers? Should we even allow anybody to use the toilet?
Right, they got to have the butt plugs.
Yeah, I mean, they should be, that's what those adult diapers are for. And remember, just like the face cover, all you got to do is shake them out, and you can use that adult diaper 3 or 4 times.
Right.
Hey, Mark.
Well, that's all I had. Some humor. I'll talk to you later.
Thank you. You got the right idea. Yeah, it's like if you can use that what's supposed to be disposable dust mask, that coffee filter, until it's got gray marks and brown streaks. I have seen stuff that looks like it's been in a maintenance shop, like it's been in an auto shop, and it's people walking by, they're stuffing them in their pockets, and they pull them back out, and they're so worried about the coronavirus, or at least placating the psychopaths who think that this is doing any good.
Well, when this thing first started, there was the shortage of masks. People were wearing women's underwear on their face. So the heck?
Which was safer. Probably, it might smell better.
Mark.
Exactly.
Hey, Mark.
Go ahead. We got 2 voices at least. Go ahead. Caller, jump in there. Who's first?
Hey, this is Carl in Virginia. Shouldn't each business and each government office and all these places be required to have one of those red biomedical waste receptacles and everywhere we go?
Should be like a Sharps container, only it's for biohazard. It's a biohazard containment. Why do we not? If this is so serious that we're all going to die, how is it I'm finding? I just mowed the grass out front. I think there were 6 of them on the road today. Just on the road, just thrown out the window. They're all up and down the road here. They're all over the parking lots. You go to the parking lots. They're all over the parking lot. If it's so serious, aren't each one of those just festering, pustulating cesspools of coronavirus waiting to kill me? Shouldn't they be in a containment bag or a containment pouch, and shouldn't each one be treated as biohazard? You would think. You're absolutely right. See, but this is what I've been saying. You know what? All you have to do is go to OSHA. Go to a federal agency that has already existed long before the coronavirus scam started, way, way before. And we had to have all these classes on this very subject. And it's like I said, every one of these asshats, every one of these liars, every one of these fools, every one of them had to throw everything out the window that we have been taught for decades and decades about with regard to hygiene. I want you all to think about that. It's like the snot rag, okay? If you got a snot rag, do you buy just one snot rag? No, you buy a pile of handkerchiefs. Why? Well, because you only use the handkerchief until, oh, God, did you just blow your nose? Oh, yeah, it's time for that one to go in the wash. Yeah. In fact, there's chunky stuff in. Oh, God. Go wash it off in the sink before we throw it in the washer, by the way. You see how that works? But instead, it's like, and these people are like, oh, yeah, I'm doing something. Yeah, you've got a Petri dish on your face. I think the fly that was over there in the trash is cleaner than that mask is right now. And it's a fact that that's true. Okay. Anyway, we got that was Carl. Who else do we have? I heard another voice, please. Who might have muted up, so I'll give you a second. Go ahead. We had another caller. Okay.
Shelby from Oklahoma City.
Go ahead, Shelby. Jump in there, please.
I was going to chime in saying you're talking about the supplies and stuff, that right now the school supplies are on clearance if there's any left at Walmart and stuff for notepads and stuff like that.
Actually, that's true. We don't even, some of the places didn't even put hardly any school supplies out this year because Michigan, of course, is Soviet. But that's true. You can get like scissors for 10 cents, 19 cents, the plastic handle with the metal blades. You can get all of the other, erasers, pads, all that stuff. That's what I'm talking about. Make up barrels of that material because, remember, we're going to need it for administration. You hand it over to the medical people and let the person who's the administrator or the support personnel work, sort it out. But we got to have it before we can sort it out. So anything like that would help us across the board. One other thing real quick, and I want you to continue, but I actually do containers that have musical, instruments, song sheet music, the whole 9 yards. I just got 2 big boxes of it this last weekend that were from an estate sale. Not even an estate sale. They were going to throw everything away. And it's, recorders, tambourines, small hand drums, the whole 9 yards. Those all get put into another container as a busy art subject item. So just heads up on that one. Go ahead. Jump in there, Shelby.
Also another heads up. Coming up, obviously still a month out. Or a month and a quarter. It's October, Halloween at the end. I'll bring it up close to the end of the month of October. But the glow sticks, light sticks, whatever you want to call them, after the 31st, they'll be half off for the glow sticks.
Yep.
So it's the best time to stock up on those.
And Dollar Tree has a pile of different types of hoops, loops, and whatever that they're carrying along. Most all the other chain stores have their, big pile and their Halloween marked. So the problem is that they are seasonal for them, which is cool. If they were just utility marked, they could kind of slide them through to the next season and call them, Thanksgiving sticks. But the neat thing is that because they're supposed to be safety items or party items for Halloween, they are they're going to be a reduction item real quick for the artificial intelligence that runs the stores. Good point. Another thing about that, remember, guys, pay attention. Here's something that's interesting. Most of you don't know it. The guys that are military do. There's 2 things. Has anybody noticed, Shelby, have you noticed any of the new helmet covers that are out there that they're promoting for the MISH helmets and such? Have you seen any of them?
I have not.
I want everybody to take a look. There's a weird, you understand there's Velcro like on the side, right? Or there's Velcro on the front for like a unit patch. What's the piece of Velcro on the center top of the helmet for? Right in the center on the top. Who would see that?
Helicopters?
How about aerial surveillance? They did this during Desert Dust 1 and 2 you're not supposed to know about. They made infrared IR glow sticks. I have probably 100 of them the guys brought back from Desert Dust Part 1 and Desert Dust Part 2. I think they're old. They may not even be good anymore. But they're infrared, okay? What they did is when they were flying night operations overhead, they didn't want to shoot friendly, so what they didn't tell everybody is they had these little hangars and on the vehicles, and they also had one on their gear, and they would take these Siloom IR units and put them on each person and on the equipment, and that way they knew friend foe from the sky. Now, why would you put a little patch on the top of the helmet, a Velcro patch on the top of the helmet? Now, it can also be for a crossover for something, but no, I'm not thinking that. Okay, I'm thinking more likely it's for a tag reflector, because, again, if there's an E-Loom / or infrared E-Loom glow unit that they've got, it goes right on the top, and that way from above with either like a reconnaissance drone or with aircraft surveillance, if they're looking down below and with their thermal, they see you guys, because remember A-10s, they can do this. They be watching with their ground surveillance, and they see, oh, a column of bodies. Oh, okay, well, look, 1, 2, 3. Oh, there's a whole squad. And so he banks back around because he didn't get a real good glimpse, and then he does another spot check, and you don't have the glow spot on the top of your helmet, so you're a reasonable target. See how that works, guys? And the reason they'll do this is because typically they've been fighting the 5-year-old blind kid across the street, like in, overseas. But if they were fighting a regular army, both sides would be looking for these little tricks, and they become targets both ways. So they're figuring you're not going to pay attention. You're not really looking at what's going on. Just a heads up, we want to pay attention when you capture equipment. Guys, this is what I've told you. When you strip the enemy dead, you take a garbage bag, a big one and a little one. The little one, you can strip all the stuff out of the pockets, and that way it's all secured, but you keep it and you tag it with the other clothing and equipment that goes in the other garbage bag off the corpse. Now, if you find in the pocket an envelope or a Siloom, say, plastic bladder, and it's got a bunch of little rectangles in it or little squares in it, you might want to pay attention and do a little work there. Let the team leader is going to figure this out real quick, or whoever's doing the survey of the gear that's captured. Everybody's got one of these little pockets. What do? Oh, wait a minute. Look at the top of the Kevlar helmet, whatever model it is. It could be a mesh. It could be a bucket model, whatever pattern. Who cares? The basic position of this stuff is the same. So from overhead, they can do a friend to foe. Well, when the time comes and you hear air cover and you hear it coming through, you make sure you have all your buddies put one of those little squares on each one of their helmets, and everybody's a friend. See how that works? That way the people on the ground don't respond and don't have to give any special signal. They would be able to see the tops of the helmets, and they would identify that they all have those IR flags. But if everybody puts them on all at the same time, then that totally defeats the purpose behind the little IR flags, doesn't it? Everybody's a friend on the battlefield, and all of a sudden, for at least a hiccup, the ordnance they thought they were going to drop, they can't have confidence in dropping it or cannoning the target if they can't be sure of who it is that they're pointing the gun or the ordnance site at. Prior proper planning prevents piss-poor performance. But thinking ahead means that you don't do it all the time. You do it when, again, it's obvious that the threat is developing. Now, it may or may not be. A-10's a real noisy bird, okay? If it starts to do some wing or circling around and it's in your area of operation, it's hunting for something. All of a sudden, you all need to be looking just like the other side. First of all, take cover, disappear, get under multiple canopy, make yourself a non-thermal target. But if you're stuck in a situation where you're a little too open, you all need to become the other side, at least with that one stupid little device that will probably save your life. Just something to think about. So, again, just ideas. As it is, anything else, Shelby, please? We're almost at the top here.
What you're talking about, the IR, I know a lot of the military has switched over to the battery-powered blinky lights that they have on the back of the gun. But also something else I noticed, it was from about 2 weeks ago. I'll have to find the video and I'll post it on the Discord. But in Seattle, and I believe they were federal police, or either state police or federal police, and they had green blinky, visible blinking lights on the back of their helmets to identify, if
Fred and foe.
Some of them got in front of, they know not to shoot them if they got ahead of their other guys that are with them.
Right. Exactly what it's for. So again, this is why you need a potpourri. You start watching the technology in the field, because we're seeing the deployments now. We see the equipment now. We need to evaluate, step back. It's especially obvious in all of the newest equipment they've gotten. And by the way, for even that blinky, they're just a small power source with an LED bright light, infrared or regular color. They'd be very easy to apply with a Velcro. Think about it, just like it's there. You want to get rid of it, make it disappear? Because you see, the other problem with green blinky lights, if all of a sudden everybody knows that they need to shoot green blinky lights, it'd probably be a good idea not to be wearing a green blinky light. Hey guys, your enemy's all wearing green blinky lights. What? Really? Are they? Well, yeah, wait a minute, hold on, look out there. You're right. Anybody with a green blinky light, shoot them now. Okay. Well, that was a short battle. That was even easier at night than it'd normally be. That's not so bad. Same is true with infrared. If you want, again, think about this. Everybody with your night vision technology, and even your low-tech night vision technology, any IR source that is out there and it's uniform, and say it's all in the same helmet, and repeat, obviously that's not our side. So if you were fighting the 5-year-old blind kid, it works. But if you're not fighting the 5-year-old blind kid and somebody actually has gray matter, it doesn't work very well at all, okay? Especially since we're talking creating tit-for-tat casualties. They thought they're going to walk out, we're not going to have a clue. And we're hunting them to the same level that they think they're hunting us. In fact, we're hunting them harder than they think they're hunting us. We have a plan to win. That's what we've got to do. And everybody needs to be thinking that way. So another thing, yes, somebody's just asking here. We are working on a night vision solution. I really am. But haven't had any response. It's been, useful for the moment. We'll see what happens. Let's see. Optics Planet is who I'm talking to right now, because they seem to still have some inventory, but they have had a lot of stuff consumed, and they are out of many items. Also, real quick, classic firearms. I was going to mention this during the 2-hour block. We got enough things to touch. We talked about a bunch of subjects. Russian surplus 7.62x38R Nagant revolver ammunition. This is the cheapest ammo in the country almost right now. If you got a Nagant revolver, they've got Russian military surplus in the ham cans. You want to get a ham can, a couple. I think it's 2 of the. Is it 2 of the cans? No, 1,092 rounds in a Spam can. But if you get 2 cans, which is a case, it's $189.99 a case, but it's $200 for 1 can, which is 0.18 cents. Well, it's 18 cents a round, basically, is what it comes down to. That's as cheap as you're going to get for ammunition right now. And that's a very specialized round. If you have a Nagant revolver, buy a case of this right away. If you have a Nagant revolver, go to classicfirearms.com. Go over to Russian surplus 7.62x38R ammo. Buy a can right now. If you can't afford 2, at least get 1. It may be $10 more. Who cares? Yeah. Bottom line is, that's as cheap as you're going to get for ammunition for any firearm right now, and that's not a gun to sniff at or to laugh at or chuckle about. You get shot with a Nagant round, you're going to know real quick that that really does hurt. It maybe is your last hurt because it's lethal. Okay.
You can get an insert for your rifle, too.
Yeah. The big thing here, again, about the Classic is you got to pay attention like everybody else. You don't know what they're going to have 1 minute, gone the next. But they have had this for a few days, and I don't think anybody's paid attention to it. So if you know anybody who's got an Nagant revolver, get them over there to Classic Firearms. Have them get a case or a couple of cans. Get a whole case, that's 2 cans, of the Nagant revolver ammunition, 1,092 rounds per Spam can. Still sealed, guys. Good forever. God bless our Republic.
We're on the march.
We shall prevail, ladies and gentlemen. The Empire's on the run.
We're on the march both day and night.
We're on the march both day and night.
For all you guys, all points of the compass, thank you for your input. For everybody out there, guys, pay attention to the situation. It's going to do nothing but get worse. Well, it depends on how you look at it. We knew this fight was coming. We're in the middle of a war. They've already been killing our people. They plan on killing more. Guess what? Right back at them first. God bless. Bye-bye.
Beneath the Liberty tree, it's a tall old tree and a strong old tree. And we are the sons, yes, we are the sons of liberty.
Join Mark and Don for Weapons Wednesday, where you'll learn how to use everything from your bare hands to your average AR-15.
The 12-gauge autoloader.
Sure.
The 45 long slide.
Yep.
With laser sighting.
You betcha.
The Uzi 9mm.
Yes, sir.
Phased plasma rifle in a 40-watt range.
What are you, crazy?
Wrong.
Okay, they'll talk about that too. So whatever question you have about whatever weapon you have, call Mark and Don on Weapons Wednesday. And remember, your mind is your first best weapon.
We all need to prepare ourselves. You might have the food, water, gold, and silver, but ask yourself, are you truly prepared? That's why you need to visit MaineMilitary.com. MaineMilitary.com carries everything you need. Gas masks, fire starter kits, high-capacity magazines, chemical suits, military surplus items, and much more. Do you own a firearm? MaineMilitary.com has a large selection of pistols and rifles suited for your needs. Are your local stores sold out of ammunition? Call or visit them today for prices on hard-to-find ammo and bulk ammo orders. You don't need to worry about having a military surplus store in your area because MaineMilitary.com is the only store you'll ever need, all from the comfort of your computer. Visit them online today at MaineMilitary.com. That's Maine, like the state, military.com.
Liberty's Guardian, Guns and Ammunition, a family-owned business located in the heart of Ohio's hunting country. Let us help you find the right shotgun or rifle for you. Or if you're looking for a pistol or concealed carry, we have a nice selection of compact and subcompact pistols for that too. Check out our website at www.libertiesguardian.com. That website again is www.libertiesguardian.com. Go to the website and check out our selection today.
I was watching from the window, listening to the pouring rain, when I saw James flash a peace sign from the plane. And with one last look, he was off to fight for Uncle Sam in the war-torn jungles of South Vietnam. When he first arrived in country, he could not believe his eyes. He couldn't understand why people had to die. But he did his thing for Nixon, spilled blood upon the land. For a host of reasons he just can't defend. These days he's just trying to get by. Still dreams about that day in midlife. So he rolls himself a big fat one out where those Charlies died. 'Cause thinking about the war just makes him cry. Yeah, these days he's just trying to get by. When his second tour was over and he made his way back home, he felt defeated this discouraged and alone. You might say he has some problems you wouldn't understand. No, this wasn't quite the life that he had planned. He's been living in seclusion in a cabin by the lake. He's been seeking faith with every toke he takes. And now that pot's been legalized, well, this old broken man plans to move to Colorado when he can. These days, he's just trying to get by. Still dreams about that day in midlife. So he rolls himself a big fat one out where the eagles fly. 'Cause thinking about the war just makes him cry. Yeah, these days he's just trying to get by. Jimmy bought a place near Denver where the air is fresh and clean, close to the mountains, the rivers, and the streams. A golden opportunity to start a brand new life for this purple-hearted soldier and his wife. The day that final curtain falls and it's Corporal Johnson's time, well, I hope that God will try to keep in mind the sacrifices that he's made to keep our country free, so that we could live in peace and harmony. These days, he's just trying to get by. Still dreams about that day in midlife. So he rolls himself a big fat one out where the eagles fly. 'Cause thinking about the war just makes him cry. Yeah, these days he's just trying to get by. Yeah, these days he's just trying to get by.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Hey, it's Monday, 9/10, and it's time to open the Veterans Manual. I'm your host, Machine Gun Randy. I come to you through Libertytreeradio.4mg.com, Indiana Freedom Pot Radio.com. If you'd like to join the show tonight, you can do that at 712-432-0900. Activation code is 957464 pound. A *6 will demute you. Again, those numbers are 712-432-0900. Activation code 957464 pound *6 will be mute you. So again, if you have something to add tonight to the show, the number is 712-432-0900. Activation code a must 957464 pound *6 will demute you.
Tracking Tampa Bay is
Right.
presented
Now,
by
you know I
Nissan.
don't do commercials on the show, but only on special occasions. And tonight, our show is brought to you by one of the only medicine that is good for PTSD and other. Tonight's show is brought to you by marijuana. And tonight is a good night to have marijuana sponsor us, because every time I've talked to anybody who has been working with Veterans Administration, who's listening tonight at my request, and the Veterans Administration is ready to dispense marijuana to patients that need it. And that is in states that are legal, like Michigan, Colorado, and hey, don't forget, Washington, D.C. has legal recreational marijuana. You can smoke it in the parks, but don't smoke it on federal land. You've got to be on city property, and they won't mess with you. While you're there, you can get on Craigslist and get a variety of different types of marijuana and edibles, drinkables, vapors. They've got many ways of getting marijuana to you. And they can also get CBD oils to you and them gummy candies, and keep them away from kids, for goodness sake. This is as much alcohol. No, not alcohol. Marijuana is not nothing like alcohol or tobacco or opioids. They're killing us. They're lining up at the prescription places that they're giving them 120 opioids to take as needed. And you know what? It kills. Many people are dying of opioid poisoning or overdose. I call it poisoning because it's a poison that the government is leaking out to us, and they're doing nothing. They get a big chemical company up on the ropes in the courtroom, and at the end of everything, after they're found guilty, the judge fines them $50 billion, and nobody goes to jail, but they fine them $50 billion to help in the states of where people have died. And that money goes to the government to help people who have had the overdose in their family. They don't get none of that money. All of that money goes to the government to make sure you don't overdose, and they're failing at it. There's people, veterans for sure, are overdosing. 24 to 26 veterans a day are dying from overdoses for suicide, accidental overdose, but it's killing them. And more rape than the regular countries or situation, whatever. But don't forget, opioids kill and marijuana doesn't. And if they took marijuana and they broke it down the medication, they would have medication that you could take and cure your headache. They would take and cure your PTSD, but they're not letting us have it the way it should come out. It's legal in Michigan, and they can use it pretty much as they want. They grow it. It's harvest time now, and a lot of people are happy right now. And the only thing that is stopping this from opening up is the federal government. President Trump, he said that he was going to not mess with medical marijuana, but he would not release legal marijuana. He's not releasing none of the recreation marijuana. He's got to check into it. Meantime, 3 years later, he hasn't done anything to make medical marijuana accessible by your grandmother or your grandfather. No, they don't do that. They would rather give them opioids so that they can take one and forget if they took it or not, and they take another one, and before you know it, you got a dead grandma on hand. But they could do the same thing with opioids, but they don't do it. They keep on giving opioids. They should be given marijuana for many things. They say it's on a scheduled list of number one that's up there with heroin and all them other drugs, but have no medical use. But marijuana's got many medical uses, and they still keep it in that drawer. I'm not sure what Trump meant when he said that people who has terminal disease that can't be cured by anything else, and he says they can use a alternative medication, but he's not making it out there for us. And that's important to veterans, because these veterans that are coming back from these wars, most of them have been out there for 2, 3, and 4 tours. And now they're getting out into the civilian life again. And they're not really ready for it. A week and a half ago, they were fighting Afghanis. Now they're coming home, and they're fighting their way to their taxi cabs, some of them. I know that's the way it was in the Vietnam era, but now we got our welcome buddies out there. They help our veterans get out of the airport and into a cab, or they might even give them a ride home and stop off and buy them a steak or something. You know, there is people that treat veterans the way they should be treated. But there are people out there that treat them like they're an enemy or something. They start harassing them when they get off the plane. And if you're in an airport, bus station, train station, and you see somebody messing with one of our heroes, you put a stop to it. All you got to do is yell at them. They're cowards. You got to make sure that they don't come out with a gun or machete nowadays, but don't let them mess with our soldiers. They are ordered not to get into anything. So if you see them messing with them, jump up on them and get them out and take them out, buy them a cab home, buy them a dinner, treat them like a person. You know, I've had complaints by veterans, Vietnam veterans. They're in a store and they get people coming up all the time to them and say, welcome home. Thank you for your service. And they said that that's really bothering them because every time they turn around, they're saying thank you, thank you, thank you to somebody who's welcomed them home. And you know, they should have been welcomed home 50 years ago. Not now. But now that they are welcoming you home, feel good about it, because those people that are welcoming you home, they're doing it from their heart. They're not spitting at you. They're not trying to degrade you in any way. They're there to say thank you for your service. And don't ignore it. Say thank you back to them. What I tell them is thank you. Thank you for your service. Thank you for my service. I said, the pleasure was all mine, which it was. I volunteered for Vietnam when I had the choice to be in a nice situation in a Balkan unit. But instead of going to the National Democratic Convention in 1968, I told the company commander I would rather go to Vietnam than go to Chicago and fight with some kids. If you want me to fight, put me in Vietnam and I'll kill as many of them as I can. And hey, they obliged me. I went over there and the tour lasted real quick now that I'm 72 years old and I'm 51 years behind Vietnam. That's just a blink in the past. But while you're there, that year is an eternity. For some of us, it was. Other of us got out kind of sane. But, hey, if you have problem with PTSD, smoke a damn joint. Get it off your chest. I'll tell you what, since my wife passed in April, I've been on my deck from 3 o'clock in the morning till midnight, choking the hell out of my body. It works. If it didn't, 10 million thousand Japanese or Chinese can't be wrong. They use it. And they use it in Washington, D.C. That's what gets me. They won't let it out of the situation it's in with heroin and mescaline, but they will let you buy opioids, alcohol, tobacco. Hey, that's coming up pretty soon. But right now, our government is stopping our troops from having the best medication that they can have, all because they got pharmaceutical companies that they are tending to. And them companies are killing us by the dozens with opioids. They let them sell it. And might have a good thing. No, it don't. It's addictive. It's a killer. And hey, release marijuana. Let the smart guys come out with the medicine that we need out of it.
Hey, Randy.
And then take the rest of it and let us have it for recreational. If you don't like recreational marijuana, go out and have some beers. But don't pass me on the highway, please.
Randy,
take the back roads home.
You. Are you on speakerphone? Because we're getting a terrible echo.
Okay, just a second. Turn that on. I'm getting the situation under control. There's feedback from there. We should be done with that.
All right. I'll let you know if it's gone.
All right. Thank you, Ed. That was Ed, our producer. If it wasn't for him, we wouldn't be doing this. But hey, thank you, Ed. And now back to our government taking the role as doctors. I know they got a few medical people in the government and the Senate and that, but they're not doctors anymore. They're senators and congressmen. They might know about medicine, but they're not practicing it no more. They can't give the senator next to them an aspirin because he can't do that anymore because he's not a doctor. As soon as a doctor becomes a politician, he's a politician. So, them people, them senators and congressmen, they've taken upon themselves to tell the world, or the United States, and the world follows, but they tell us what medicine we can and can't have. Some of it is understood. But when you have a medicine that is like marijuana, and you just let it sit in a scheduled list with drugs that don't have a medical use, when everybody knows there is medical use for marijuana. In 68, when I started, I didn't think about it. I thought I was getting high and getting away with getting off Army duty, getting buzzed up and forgetting about everything. But now that I know what I was doing then, I was fighting PTSD. That's why I showed no signs until I got in the situation that I couldn't have no marijuana. And then after about 3 weeks, I went bananas on them. And they thought I had a problem. I didn't have a problem. I didn't have no weed with me. But they put me out of jail into a hospital, and they finally took things the way it should be. A person that comes out of combat should not be able to, or should not come home and go out in the public until he has a situation where he is not under control by the Army, and they can go out and take care of themselves without jumping under a table when a gunfire or a car backfires or a firecracker goes off. Now, that's what medical marijuana does. It takes the veteran and other people. It's not only veterans that's got PTSD. There are many people out there that's got PTSD. Women that's been beat on, men that's been beat on, car wrecks, airplane crash, even if you wasn't in it, but you heard it on your radio or TV, that has put PTSD in people. And I can tell you, Thorazine and Milorel and Librium does not work on PTSD. The only thing that works on PTSD is right here in my bong. It's called marijuana. And our government does not allow us to do marijuana. Now, on the second half of this show coming up here, after Hank Williams does his song, which comes on about 9:30, Ed, and we can do that.
get my rocking chair, 'cause I love to rock. Yeah, rock. Baby, rock, rock on down the line. I'll soon get my big check, baby, and then we'll have some fun. This rocking chair money, honey, it's better than toting a gun, 'cause I love to rock. Yeah, rock. Baby, rock. Let's rock on down the line. Now, honey, let's go honky-tonk. Let's honky-tonk all night. Let's lollygag and smooch and love and do it all upright, 'cause I love to rock. Yeah, rock. Baby, rock. Well, let's rock on down the line.
All right, Hank Williams sang that song back in 1952. Back in 1952, and the Korean War was in full swing. And the way people back then handled disabilities, they made them feel bad, so the people weren't going for their disability. I ran into a guy at a, well, it was a pig roast this weekend, and went to it, and this fella, he just looking at him before he even started talking, let me know that this guy had PTSD. And he sat down and talked to me for about 10 minutes, and I had heard that he had been to Afghanistan 3 times. And his MOS is sniper. And he did his job well. And it bothers him now that it's over with, as it does with everybody else. And our government is keeping what he needs, I need, Kyle needs over here. Kyle has seizures, big, bad seizures, many times. And what helps him is Simpson oil that he can't afford. And he goes through these damn seizures. He went in one seizure, passed out for a few hours, and he burnt a finger off on the register of the heater. Burn a finger off, and I can see 2 fingers, 3 fingers that are scarred up.
And he's got to go back in here this week, and he has surgery on the hand again, where they're going to take some of the thumb off and try to make it to where he's got more use of the hand.
And what's really bad about this, he knows marijuana, Simpson oil, helps him with this seizure. It don't stop him, but it makes them less frequent and not as violent as when he goes into them. When he goes into them and you're in his way, you're not at his mercy because you don't know what he's doing, but watch out because he has bad seizures. And marijuana, or THC actually, is what helps him. So, our government will not let him have the marijuana that he needs, even though we're in a legal state. He can't get it because his doctors won't give it to him because there's nobody that can get it for him because nobody can make it the way it needs to be made. It needs to be brought out, made by pharmacists who knows what they're doing, and he gets what he needs every time.
Our insurance should be paying for this in Kyle's case. You know, in a lot of different cases, the insurance should be covering it just like they would lithium or dilantin or anything else they dope people up to try to control the seizures. Any other, we should be entitled to be able to be prescribed RSO as well. And I don't even know right now in the state of Michigan is RSO legal.
I have no idea.
I know we're allowed to smoke the hell out of the weed, but I don't know if it's legal to make oils or buy oils yet.
Yes, you can. You can. And aren't they selling them at the dispensaries?
They're selling CBD oils. I don't know about.
I don't go to the dispensary, so I don't know. But I know, you know,
I don't either.
I'm not supposed to send nobody down the road to see Hippie Joe.
Right.
But
well,
if you need Simpson oil and you can't get it where you got to get it at, you know, just go where you've been going for years, and it'll be there. And our government should not have to have us go into these creepy neighborhoods that we got to go to. Now, for your grandmother to get her prescription of marijuana filled, she has to go around back alleys into a rat-infested hotel and buy what she's got to buy, instead of going up to Walmart, to the pharmacy. And could you imagine the line that would be there if they had marijuana on their list to give to their patients? You would have a pretty long waiting line to get in. They might even put the marijuana line over here and everybody else come over here. And nobody else would probably be going over there because everything that you need would be in the marijuana line.
What we need to do, the big thing that we all need to do, is to get a petition together and sign it. But we need to strongly get this scheduling of Schedule 1 narcotic marijuana released from
well, you can do
that's ridiculous. Anybody that smokes weed knows it's not the same thing as heroin or cocaine.
You can do what you want to do about marijuana. All 50 states could vote yes, but it comes to the federal government that's got to take it off the schedule list that it's on.
Got to get off that. It's got to be knocked down to.
So they'll let Kyle and everybody else that wants to have cigarettes, alcohol, opioids, but they will not let them get marijuana. But you can get cigarettes. Get used. Mila's been coughing. You've been hearing her coughing. She's coughing because of cigarettes.
I have COPD and emphysema, and I can't put the damn things down.
And you're
going. I am going to get acupuncture, and that's what I want to. I want to get rid of them. I've tried everything else, Randy. I've tried the Shantex. I've tried the patches, the gum. They even put me on, I think it was called Wellbutrin. It was years ago, and that sped my heart up so fast I thought I was going to have a heart attack. And I have tried. I stress out really bad. I cry. I get mean. I get angry. I get nasty. I get hard to deal with. It's a severe addiction. And you get your specialist to tell you that nicotine is every bit the drug that heroin is. And as everybody knows, I've been rehabbing drug addicts. I haven't did any heroin addicts yet, but I'll tell you what, I could use a nicotine rehabilitation. I think I'm going to try to get a pack of those CBD cigarettes and see if that'll help in the meantime before I can find a reliable acupuncturist to go to.
Well, when I quit smoking cigarettes, I used leaf from marijuana plants. And when I wanted to get high, I smoked the bud. And it wasn't a day and a half, I was smoking bud. And I've been happy ever since.
That's the thing, you know, I catch myself smoking weed and cigarettes at the same time, and it's just like, I did it for so many years. I guess my brain is programmed to tell the difference. Nicotine or smoking pot doesn't substitute for me the nicotine addiction. But that might be, I don't know. Maybe I can trick my brain with these new CBD cigarettes I'm hoping it'll turn the green why it didn't do yours.
Well, it's
Because Kyle
pretty
smoked them. I heard they gave you like a leg back feeling, and it still made you want to have a cigarette.
Now, acupuncture. Don't waste your money on them gimmicks. You're going to run into the marijuana market. You're going to run into a lot of gimmicks. They're like the old soapbox guy who sat him out and sold you muscle building, hemp-based marijuana, alcohol-based, and you're 10 foot tall and bulletproof by the time you get done drinking their solution. But you can buy them anywhere, but you can't buy marijuana anywhere. And one thing about this is the American tobacco companies are killing us by the thousands.
And nobody's doing nothing about it. But as a matter of fact, the government made them put this last chemicals in there to make the cigarettes burn out, and so less fires. And it's fire safe cigarettes. And so the government pushes this shit. And maybe if they had just left the tobacco that the raw tobacco that got ground up and you smoke it, maybe it wouldn't have been so bad. But I think there's something like 100 and some chemicals in the tobacco to make them cigarettes.
2,700.
2,700.
Nobody knows. Nobody knows what it is.
That's just crazy. And see, I'm afraid if the government gets a hold of weed, that they'll do the same thing to the weed. Instead of it being just Raleigh Road dope, they're going to start putting all these fucking chemicals in it to make it burn out and to do this and do that. And before you know it, it's going to be just the same junk that we're being fed with the cigarette.
Well, you don't have to worry about the marijuana cigarette going out because, it goes out if you don't puff on it. It goes out.
It goes out in the food.
But
that doesn't mean the government...
What angers me is the insurance companies in this country will tolerate a company or a business the way the tobacco companies go, and they've got to pay for treatment of those that smoke cigarettes. They paid over $280,000 for my wife, and she still died. And it was from cigarettes. And, hey, I got the tobacco companies in my crosshairs, and my weapon is the telephone. And I want to put that company down, those companies down. Farmers that grow tobacco are murderers. People that work in the factories that shreds them and make cigarettes out of them, you're a murderer too.
I'd really like to know why is nicotine as severe of a drug as heroin is. There's heroin rehabilitation clinics. Why are there not cigarette rehabilitation? Where you go in 30 days, and I noticed when I'm in the hospital, like when I had my heart attack, I didn't even want a cigarette for 21 days I was in there. If I had it to do all over again, I wouldn't have smoked when I got out. I did it because the situation at home wasn't really all it should have been.
Yeah, my wife, she did the same thing. They cured her of cancer and kept smoking. I couldn't get her to quit. I tried everything. Acupuncture, she wouldn't go. She said she went the way she wanted to go, I guess, because she had many opportunities. And for some reason, she lost interest in life. I don't know, it's hard to say. She missed doctor's appointments, very important ones. And after 5 years of fighting it, she finally won her battle. She died.
Your wife was a lot like me, and the fact that she wanted to live how she wanted to live, and if she couldn't live the way she wanted to, there wasn't no sense in living. So that was one of the luxuries that she didn't leave behind. At one time she smoked weed, and all of a sudden started giving her panic attacks, so she left that behind. She drank heavily, and that started tasting like shit, and she left the drinking behind. And she just, in her head, was not going to give up cigarettes. She'd already left everything else behind. So you kind of can't blame her, you know. I mean, if you can't live the way you want to live, why the hell live?
Well, she had no way to live. She had a broken pelvis. She had cancer.
Well, yeah.
All over.
She had a horrible way out.
Oh, worst thing I ever went through was helping my wife while she was battling her last battle with cancer. The kids, Stacy and Samantha, told me to go sit in the front porch, my office where I do my show most of the time. I'm on the road tonight, by the way. I'm in Hershey, Michigan at Myla Chambers' house. And they have a game of euchre going on here, and it's pretty stiff here. It's 9-1. So this is what we do on the road. But seriously, folks, we want to do one thing. If we do nothing else in my lifetime, get the government to shut down tobacco companies the way they went after us for marijuana. They should put the same thing on tobacco. The snuff, the chew, the bags, the vapors, cigarettes, cigars, pipes, they all bring on cancer. And, hey, that cancer is not like getting in a car accident and you're dead as soon as you hit the dashboard and you're in heaven and everything's fine. It's not that way with cancer. Pam fought it for 5 years. And there was nothing to stop it once it got going. She tripped and fell, and she fractured her pelvis, and that cancer spread like wildfire. And I was doing a show on that Monday night. If you remember, I had to cut the show early because I had to get her up. My dog, or her dog, Lucy, was protective. And when I got her to lift her, and she started to tell me not to, and I started putting her back down, the dog was in the chair, and I went asked to get the dog away. The dog bit me. But he did his job. He was protecting Pam, or she was protecting Pam. And, hey, I praised her for it because that's what she was supposed to do. And she did it well. Right now, Stacy got her downstate. And I'm going down. I'm going to bring her home because I got to have protection around my house because I don't know about you people in Arkansas, Alabama, and Georgia, other places that wish they had marijuana.
It can be a pain in the ass sometimes.
Watch my thing tomorrow. My portfolio, the fun book, or what is it, Facebook. We're going to put some nice looking marijuana plants on the Facebook for you. So be ready to check that out. And hey, if you're up there in Arkansas, you can dream. But if you don't get your hillbillies up off your butt, you are not going to get marijuana legal because your government's not going to give it to you if you don't let them know that you want it. And this is election year, so go out there and let Trump know, hey, what'd you say about marijuana? You said it could be used for medicine, but you don't know about the medical part. Well, think about this, Trump. All these people coming back from these wars with PTSD, and you're going to give them sugar pills. You know, Thorazine was an animal tranquilizer back in its day, and I don't think they even use it for animals anymore, but they're going to try it on our veterans, our veterans and our soldiers returning home with PTSD. And some of them are worse. You know, there's worse things out there than PTSD. I mean, wow, people out there that's given everything still. And other people who go out there, all those countless tours with their families at home. Doug, I don't know his last name, I didn't get it, but he has 5 indoor grow shops around central Michigan here, and he was a pilot for the Air Force for 10 years, and he came home one leave, and his daughter got behind his wife and was looking around her to see him, and he knew right then that it's time that he got out. And he called his company commander up and told him that, hey, I'm going to quit. I got 4 months left on my hits, and I can do something around here by my family, but yeah, I'm going to quit. And they offered him $130,000 to re-enlist, and he wouldn't take it. And hey, family's family. And if you run your family right, it overrides your job in some parts. My family, it did. Pam, she was a singer. And Bob Seger's mother heard her sing and told her she could come over and audition for backup. And she says, no, I'm going to stay here with my family and get my old man up north and off drugs. And that's what she did. She gave up Bob Seger. I gave up my singing position with the Chocolate Hair Band out of West Detroit. And we wrote no music, but we played a lot of good shows and had a lot of fun. And hey, it's only a few that make a whole bunch of money in the music world. But there are a lot of people out there that enjoy it and get out and do it. So, it is time to put tobacco companies under. It don't matter if you're a smoker or a non-smoker. The tobacco companies are selling poison. They got a license to kill, and that's what they do. You know, they came out when this pandemic started. The tobacco company came out and said that they got some drugs that they could put out to try to see if it might curb the sheer disease or virus. And when they did that, when they did that, I'm lost for words here. I'm lost for where I am at. And with that, I say, Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this our daily bread. Forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those that trespass against us. Lead us from temptation and deliver us from evil. For thou art the glory and power and glory forever and ever. Amen. God bless. Hey, I'm Machine Gun Randy. I will see you Thursday night on the American Marijuana Revolution at 9 p.m. on these same channels that you're listening at now. So I'll talk to you then, and I'll be back here next Monday. God bless. Adios.
And so,
That's waiting for the top hour where you get kind of behind that.
So you could understand they were forged by fire. Hard tough to get beyond, give you an unbreakable bond. Forged by fire. When you pray to God, beat the odds, and you walk through hell together. You're forever forged by fire. The young GI said from his VA bed, why you want to hang out with us broken men? Why you could be spending your time with your family and friends.
Yeah, good.
He told him, son, your family too. I see myself when I look at you. In a place and time you don't forget. So even though we just met, we're forged by fire. Hard time to get beyond, give you an unbreakable bond. Forged by fire. When you pray to God, beat the odds, and you walk through hell together, you're forever. He said, goodbye, GI. See you next week. He rolls himself out to the street. Pretty hard for him to get up in that van and throw the wheelchair in the back. He was headed home, ready to unwind, when Charlie called, can you help me one more time? He said, Chuck, I'll be there on the double. For a brother, it's no trouble. When you're hard time to get beyond Iraq, Korea, or Khe-Sanh. From Iwo Jima to Afghanistan, we're talking about the American fighting man.
Goodbye.